Hello Baldur's 3 Gate fans! I wanted to tell you about my character Aaron the Acidic. Aaron is a black dragonborn with acrid acid breath attacks. You don't have to choose a dragonborn, but there aren't that many acid-based damage options in the game, I find, so I take anything I can get. All places to find the items I'll be talking about in this video can be found in the video description. I chose 4 feats: ability score improvement, 1 point in each of these, elemental adept acid to ignore acid resistance and deal higher on average acid damage, great weapon fighting to roll higher damage on average, and warcaster. Warcaster because I'm, well, a battle mage. I have fighter and wizard with my first level being in fighter. Let's talk about the equipment though that gives this acid battle mage his synergy. Fleshmelter Cloak. When you get struck in melee combat, the enemies take acid damage. This is just normal armor. Any armor will do. I just dyed it green. Ichorous Gloves. When you deal acid damage with, say, Acid Splash, your cantrip, it inflicts noxious fumes. Hostile creatures around you take acid damage. And then these boots, you don't need them as a black dragonborn because you already have resistance to acid damage, but it gives you acidic surface immunity, which acidic surfaces will reduce armor class by 2, which is part of why this build is so good. The Necklace of Elemental Augmentation, your cantrips deal extra acid damage. Caustic Band, your weapons deal extra acid damage. Ring of Elemental Infusion, when you cast a cantrip and then use 7th level Arcane Fighter's War Magic to make a bonus action attack right afterward, or just in general, your weapon attack deals extra acid damage. So you're dealing extra dice of acid damage on top of extra dice of acid damage, and it works out pretty well. So what weapons do we use? We can throw weapons like the Caustic Bulb, Acid Vial, I believe these create acid surfaces, Noxious Spore Grenade for more noxious fumes, or use the acid arrows and shoot them with your ranged weapon, and you can create a pool of acid that way. My weapon of choice between these, now these are good weapons all around. Corrosive Flail. Once per short rest you can deal acid damage and then create a pool of acid to reduce enemy armor class by 2. And then there's the Flail of Ages, which you can choose to imbue with extra acid damage and then inflict acid condition on swing. Melf's First Staff. This is a great staff to use early game because it gives you an extra use of Melf's Acid Arrow. Fun fact, these barrels, you can only get them here in Worm's Rock Fortress. But my weapon of choice is the Drakethroat Glaive. This glaive gives enemies disadvantage on saves against your Dragonborn Breath weapon, making it more likely they take your full damage, which is great, because again, it ignores their resistance. You're just that caustic. And then the Warped Headband of Intellect to boost my intelligence from a measly 8 to a reasonable 17. So these, I think, all come together to make my character more potent. And I chose this acid build because I wanted to delve into how good acid damage is. It'll leave behind that puddle, like I said, with the acid condition, and like you could give your allies these boots to make them acidic surface immune too, if you have an ally who also engages in melee combat with you, and you could help them that way. But I wanted to make this similar to the Green Knight from Castle Crashers, although the Green Knight uses, I think, poison instead of acid, but this is a strictly acid build, but thematic, which is why I dyed my armor green. Anyway, my skills, I chose, athletics, intimidation, probably could have picked survival. I picked Arcana and history by choosing the Sage background. I started as a fighter, went to Eldritch, or Arcane Knight, or whatever, and then I picked Wizard. I chose Wizard Evoker for Sculpt Spells, and 7th level Fighter for War Magic. Sculpt Spells makes it so your allies take no damage from your evocation spells. Speaking of which, let's talk about spells. As Eldritch Knight, you should absolutely choose Acid Splash, Chromatic Orb, and Melf's Acid Arrow. Arcane Knight, these spells are always prepared. You should also pick Magic Missile and Shield, I think, because 1, these are always good spells to pick, and 2, you can't get them in spell scroll form, so you have to pick them or you won't get them. Wizard, you can add spells to your spellbook, so I suppose you can pick whatever here, whatever you think. I think Long Strider is good, but Glyph of Warding, you can cast it and create an acid pool. So there's multiple ways you can create acid pools, create acid damage, but this is a fantastic build that I think you should try. It might not carry you through Honor Mode, but I'd give it a good solid B. Give it a try.